Hello YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you new here, my name is Hush Hosh. I do spiritually related videos. I also talk about my transition on testosterone, about trans stuff, and I also talk about writing. If you don't already, please give me a subscribe, a like, or a comment below, as well as please check out my link with my new book, The Angel Keeper. Check out my shop, Artiste Tarot, where I do readings, where I do spiritual candles, and I sell hoodoo oil. So please check that out down below. This video, I'm actually going to be talking about how exactly I got this far on my spiritual journey. I feel like this is crooked. Let me fix you guys. Hold on. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about exactly how I got this far, because if you don't know already, if you follow me on TikTok, you know that I practice hoodoo, and I do like a lot of spell work and oils and things like that. But I want to talk about exactly how I got to this point, because it took me a couple of years to get to this point. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about like what exactly happened in between that helped me to learn, and some of the things that I went through that actually brought me to this point, because it is not just about research. And I feel like a lot of people get that messed up, and they just kind of jump into spell work and they think, oh, I'm supposed to do all the things, and I'm going to start doing hexes and all of this. No, it doesn't work that way. The first thing that catapulted me into my spiritual practice was meditation. And I know some people don't like to hear about meditation. Some people, now I'm gonna give y'all a pass. Maybe meditation just ain't your thing. But specifically for me, this is what got me deep-seated into a lot of experiences that I went through. However, I did not start off by just saying, I want to start meditating. What happened with me was, with my youngest child, I ended up having like some really bad postpartum depression, and I ended up having like really bad anxiety. So what ended up happening was I ended up starting to do meditation in order to help the anxiety and alleviate some of that. And I gave myself a 30-day challenge to make sure that I was meditating for at least like 2 minutes a day. And I would record like whatever happened after those experiences, or how I felt afterwards. Now, what started as kind of like a journal practice was something that I ended up writing down, like different experiences that I encountered while I was meditating, because in meditation, you become more aware. And with this awareness, you start to notice more things around you. And besides that, you also start to notice spiritual things in your surroundings, but also just regular things that you probably have just been passing by and not really realized. After a lot of my meditation practice, I was starting to realize things like, hey, like I'm going out and I'm realizing how green the leaves are on the tree, and I've never really noticed that before. Like, they're just so much brighter. They're always that bright. It's just that we're always living in a state of disassociation, essentially, and we aren't paying attention to the things around us. So we're missing out on a lot of life just due to the fact that we're living up here and not living life, if that makes any sort of sense. Sorry, y'all. I have to remind myself to have lunch. If I don't have lunch, then I end up fucking up, because I am also autistic. But I will talk about that at a later video. The second thing that also catapulted me into my spiritual practice was watching people that came from a spiritual walk of life. But I will, disclaimer with this, the only thing that I don't like about watching people that come from a spiritual walk of life on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, things like that, is a lot of these individuals, 9 times out of 10, depending on what practice you are seeking, these are individuals that do not have children, that were not married or anything like that. You 9 times out of 10 don't see that, especially when you step into like Hinduism. If you're looking up anybody that's doing like meditation, 9 times out of 10, they're probably having to do with like Hinduism or Buddhism. And these people usually do not have children. It's the strangest things. Y'all probably like, every 5 seconds, I got something new. It's a little bit harder to find people that are in a practice that have like family, meaning like their own intermediate family with like children and married off. At the time, that's what I was. I was married to someone with children. Now I'm not married anymore. So, but it's kind of hard to like pay attention to their life completely if you are looking for a how-to. However, a lot of these individuals do speak on a lot of practices that have helped them to get them to where they were. One of the people that I actually followed early on was Vishuddha Das. And I also followed Lavender later. Lavender is not necessarily a spiritual individual, but she is an individual that manifests a lot into her life and shows a lot of discipline. Discipline is also very important with this practice as well too. So keep that in mind, that this is not the end all be all, and try not to get caught up in conspiracy theory videos. It is way deeper than just conspiracy theories. I do feel like a lot of spiritualists started there, and that's where a lot of the pondering came in, you know, wondering if like Jay-Z and Beyonce was a part of the Illuminati, you know, that bullshit. But the thing is that do not get stuck there, and do not get stuck in just watching videos that other people tell you things. Make sure that you are experiencing them yourselves, not just watching other people talk about it and then spewing back everything that you have heard them talk about or them say about certain things. Make your own connections. Which brings me to number 3, reading. Reading. Please do yourself a favor and do your own reading. Now, way before I ever stepped into a lot of this, to ancestor reverence, into meditation, any of that, it was reading. And I say this, please understand that I have a church background, and I stepped out of like Christianity. And one of the biggest mistakes that people make inside of Christianity is, like I just mentioned with the conspiracy theorists, they only listen to what it is that the pastor tells them. And they believe this is the only useful source of information. And the issue is with that, and one thing that I did not appreciate about the church, is the Bible can be twisted in so many different ways. You will be reading a verse having to do with a woman spinning thread, and they'll be like, this means that money is going to be coming to you in the next year or something like that, you know? Another thing that was quite frustrating about church was the fact that it was very much, everything was always materialistic blessings. And that got very frustrating to have to deal with. Why am I coming to church? And if I believe in the Most High, then I should be receiving these things regardless. You get what I mean? Or is it irregardless? I always mix up those two. Y'all get what I'm saying. The thing is that either way, like I should be getting cars. I should be getting money because I serve God. That's not feeding my mind. That's not helping me grow. And what you want is growth. So even if it's starting with, let me read the Bible for myself, or let me read the books they got rid of. And that was one of the things that I did way before this. I ended up reading the book of Enoch, which is a great start. And this was something that was taken out of the Bible. I do believe that it is available in the Jewish Bible, but it is not in like the King James Version. And part of the reason that it is not in the King James Version is because some of the things that are talked about, like one of the things, spoiler, that they talk about is when the angels came down from heaven, that they brought with them numerology, sorcery, and divination, I believe. I believe that's in there. But I read this. I was able to find the Book of Enoch for free online, and I read the entire thing. And some of these things are actually contradictory with some of the 10 Commandments that was happening in the Book of Enoch. So it challenges your thinking. And since it challenges your thinking, it helps you to grow. Some of the books that I read, I'm also going to leave down below that helped me. The Autobiography of a Yogi, Ram Dass's Be Here Now, the Bhagavad Gita was fucking amazing, okay, guys? Made way more sense than the Holy Bible. And the Bhagavad Gita is actually way older than the Holy Bible. And don't just limit yourself with reading only religious works, because there are things that are actually very helpful to help you grow. And one of those books are like Oprah Winfrey's What I Know So Far, or What I Know Now, or something like that. I'll list it below. But You want to take in as much information as you can to grow, to challenge your thinking, to break out of the doctrine that you were taught. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you are finding things out for yourself. Find things out that you're interested in. Don't just go according to what I say. Yes, I'm giving suggestions, but if you feel called to read a certain religious work, absolutely read it and learn on it, because when you start to break these things down and learn things, you will realize how we have been taught one thing when we should be living a different way, if that makes any sort of sense. After the reading, I would say the next thing, if you are specifically trying to step into things having to do with magic or anything like that, right? Spell work, hoodoo for people that are people of color. The next thing that I would say to make sure that you step into is manifestation. And you might be like, why exactly am I looking into manifestation? Manifestation is a mindset, and it is something that you need to pay attention to. Just like with meditation, it is a mindset. This is something that you need to pay attention to. If you are not able to start to change your mindset to just manifest simple things like having a good day when you wake up, then what good are you going to be when you're trying to make an oil or a love spell or a protection spell? Because this is very much believing up here. You have to believe it. And that's the one thing that people sometimes think, that it's like, oh, I'm just going to throw this stuff together and I hope it works. It doesn't work that way. You have to know that it's going to work. Okay. So manifestation is something that is very important. One of the things that I did to work on a lot of manifestation was to get a manifestation journal, which is get a journal, make sure that it is only used for this purpose. And usually what I like to do is, like, on the front page, I like to say, like, everything in this journal will come to pass. Anything that I write will happen in positive, healthy matter, and things like that, right? Write all of that into it. And at the bottom, you could put, like, in Jesus' name, Ashe, or so shall it be, what have you. And just address it out to, you could say it like, I would address it to, like, dear universe, dear God, dear ancestors of light, anything like that. You make sure that you write that down in this journal, and you speak things as though they have already happened. Go into this and say, like, I thank God for my new Ford Focus. I don't know. Thank God for my Ford Focus. It is beautiful. It's got great interior with warming seats, and the air conditioning runs well, and it just runs so smooth. It gets me from point A to point B every day. It gets me to work. It gets me to wherever it is that I need to go. And you write in it positive. And also make sure that outside of, like, just a manifestation journal, make sure that you yourself are paying attention to your thoughts in your mind to try to correct the negative thoughts that you may have that comes across. So manifestation is not just writing it down. It's also things that you say to yourself. Don't be thinking, oh my God, this is never going to work. Okay, you speaking it, then it's not going to work. You need to switch that mindset, and it takes work. But once you do that, it will make things easier to come to you. Last but not least, the fifth thing that I would say is important before stepping into, like, spell work and things like that would be your spirit team, your spirit guides, your ancestors of light. I started with my ancestors of light, and that was where I first began, was making sure that I made an altar for my ancestors of light. I'm saying ancestors of light for a reason, because you don't know if you may know, actually, you may know. Some of us do not have ancestors from the past that are great people, and these are not people that you want to work with. So make sure that you say your ancestors of light that mean you well, okay? So you want to make sure that you talk to the ones that are actually going to help you out. And in starting there, especially those of you that are stepping into hoodoo, it is important to start with your ancestors before you talk to deities. And first working with them, and then eventually that was when I started stepping into, Krishna, and Hecate. So once you start doing that, then you're able to step into the other things. So hopefully this video is useful to someone, because I know for me personally, it sucked sometimes looking up things and trying to figure things out, and I couldn't find anybody that I could relate to that was able to talk to me about those things. But again, if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, check out my shop to buy some of my oils, my candles, and to buy my book that just came out on Amazon. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.